What is going on, everybody? Gamersgoon here today with your college football week number 6 predictions, where we predict every single game every single week. And we're coming off of yet another 3-2 week. I actually got a score spot on. TCU versus Arizona State. Arizona State won that game 27-24. So don't do with that what you will. We got an exact score, and I kind of reversed it on a different game as well. I had 24-21 in the Georgia-Alabama game. I did not take Alabama, though. So, anyways, let's get into it. This is the updated top 25, as always. As you can see, my Oregon Ducks beat Penn State, and that catapulted them into number one. You know, I've been really high on them, how they've been handling teams. Kind of been waiting for them for their big test to see if it's all true. They went on the road. Shout out Dante Moore. Shout out Dan Lanning getting the job done in Happy Valley. They're my number one team in the country as of now. Anyways, let's get into the quick picks real quick. We are starting it off on Thursday. Sam Houston versus New Mexico State. We are taking New Mexico State 21-17 in that game. Friday, we have a few games. Charlotte versus USF. Now, quick reminder about USF. They are ranked 21 in my poll. So we'll see what they are able to do here. Charlotte, not a great team. USF wins that one 31-14. New Mexico versus San Jose State. New Mexico comes up in a close one, 24-21. Western Virginia versus my BYU Cougars. They're 20th in my poll. And BYU is going to get the job done 27-17. Colorado State going up against San Diego State. Interesting game. San Diego State should win that one 24-21. And then we are getting into the Saturday slate. We have my Illini coming off of a win against USC at home. I have them beating Purdue 38-28 in the rivalry game. Boston College going up against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh gave a good fight last week against Louisville. Pittsburgh wins this one 28-24. Clemson versus North Carolina. I kind of wanted to make this a game to look into deeper, but both teams not having great years. Clemson wins this one 28-17. Don't be shocked if it's a little closer than that. Both teams not playing great football. Kentucky versus Georgia. Georgia coming off that loss. You think they bounce back. Kentucky, not much offense there. Georgia wins that one 21-10. Could be much bigger. Iowa State going up against Cincinnati. Iowa State, I kind of had them on an upset watch against Arizona. They handled business. Iowa State handles business here against Cincinnati as well, 24-17. Kansas State going up against Baylor. Baylor was a team I really like. I think they could be top 25 at some point. Baylor, 28-24 in that one. Army going up against UAB. Tight game, low scoring, 21-17 UAB. Ohio going up against Ball State. Ohio should win that one pretty comfortably, 38-17. Air Force going up against the Navy. Navy wins that one in a low one, 20-13. Wisconsin going to Michigan. Michigan wins that one pretty easily as well, 28-10. UTSA going up against Temple. We got UTSA winning 35-24. Wake Forest against Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech coming out with a win this week that kind of shocked me. Wake Forest almost pulled off the upset against Georgia Tech. Wake Forest wins a close one, 28-24. Campbell versus NC State. NC State needs a bounce back. They will get it 35-6 here against Campbell. Western Michigan going up against UMass. Western Michigan wins comfortably 24-10. Syracuse going up against SMU. I told you, don't buy Syracuse stock. And I hold true to that. SMU winning that one 31-17. Now we are going to get over to our first feature game of the week. One that I just don't understand. Sorry, I had to get a drink real quick. Vanderbilt going up against Bama. Quick reminder where they stand. Vanderbilt's 15th, Bama's 10th. And you might be asking, how did Florida State go behind Bama? Virginia was a bad loss. We're at that time of the season. The bad losses will affect you, and you're no longer just ahead of Bama because you beat them. Don't lose to Virginia next time, Florida State. Anyways, this spread, I had to do a double check 24 points in the favor of Alabama. Alabama played well against Georgia. 3-point game. I think that's one of the two best wins in the season. I think we got both of them this week. Penn State and beating Penn State for Oregon and beating Georgia for Alabama are, in my opinion, the two biggest wins of the season so far. Bama's good. Are they 24 points better than a ranked Vanderbilt team? I don't see that being the case. I got Bama winning a close one. It's not going to be the high 24-point win, I don't believe. Now, you also do got to remember, like, they need to get one back on Diego Pavia and company at Vanderbilt. But with that being said, I still got a safe win here. 31-24 is what I have. 24 just seems like a lot. Just seems like a lot for a ranked Vanderbilt team. Granted, they gave up a lot to Utah State last week, but it's just, there's no way, right? 24 points. 24! I just can't buy that. I can't buy that whatsoever. Vanderbilt's going to keep it closer than that. I got a 7-point game there, but I'm going with the Tide. Next, we get Louisiana Monroe going up against Northwestern. Northwestern coming off the UCLA win. UCLA might not win a game, but Northwestern wins that one as well, 31-17. Oregon State versus Appalachian State. I got Oregon State winning their first game of the season, 24-14. Eastern Michigan going up against Buffalo. We got Buffalo winning 28-17. Next, we got Central Michigan going up against Akron. Tight game. Central Michigan wins 24-21. Next, we got James Madison going up against Georgia State. Another game there, kind of tight. We're going James Madison to win 28-21. Same thing with Florida International and UConn. I got UConn, though, on the side of 28 and FIU on the side of 21. Miami, Ohio versus Northern Illinois. Kind of a tricky game to predict for me. Northern Illinois could win this game, but I'm going Miami, Ohio, 21-17. Next, we are going to get back into our next feature game of the video, and that is Virginia coming off of their big upset victory over Florida State, where they looked really good. And Louisville. Louisville's still a ranked team. Quick reminder where Louisville is. They're 22. Louisville's formidable. And Virginia has been scoring. And that's kind of what's impressed me about Virginia so far. Now, they do have a loss on their schedule already. But I kind of debated putting this Virginia team around the top 25. I ultimately didn't. But that Florida State win was impressive. That Florida State win was impressive from Virginia. And I think Louisville has kind of been a team that's struggled to get going at times. They've been a team kind of just getting by just so far. This could be another spot for Virginia to walk in and get an upset. Now, they lost to NC State. We've seen NC State so far, they're 3-2. We've seen NC State lose to Duke and Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech really been the big red flag there. But Virginia, for the most part, has shown up and put points on the board. Louisville, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Louisville at the moment. This is a team I really like, but they almost gave it up to Pittsburgh. The JMU game wasn't super smooth, and then the other two are kind of a wash because it's Eastern Kentucky and Bowling Green. Pittsburgh, though, I think is the one that you could look at as the closest to the Virginia level. Virginia's going to put up points. That's one thing we've seen so far this year with Virginia. Louisville coming in as 7-point favorites to me is crazy, especially after the Florida State game where Florida State had a really good defense and it looked like Swiss cheese out there. UVA had no problem moving the ball. They had no problem moving the ball. They had some interceptions here and there, But at the end of the day, they still put up like 46 points with 3 interceptions, I think it was. Imagine if those drives didn't have interceptions. Virginia was on a path for like 60. That is how good this Virginia offense has been. Louisville, at times, kind of just feels like they're getting by. Don't be shocked. I'm going with the upset. Virginia winning on the road 42-38. I think it's going to be close. I might be wrong, but I'm buying stock in this Virginia team at the moment. Let's get back to more quick picks. We have Penn State versus UCLA. Feel sorry for UCLA, man. Penn State wins that one 35-10. Penn State with a bounce back. Texas going up against Florida. Consider making this a feature game. It is not. Florida just not that great. Texas wins 31-17. Boise State versus Notre Dame. Same thing here. Thought about it, but Notre Dame's going to crush Boise. I got it 42-21 in the favor of Notre Dame. Kent State going up against Oklahoma. We're going Oklahoma 35-6. Texas State going up against Arkansas State. Give me Texas State at 38-24. Michigan State going up against Nebraska. Nebraska win a close one, 28-24. Coastal Carolina versus Old Dominion. We're going Old Dominion, 35-17. Now let's get to our next feature game of the week, and that is Washington. Washington. I told you they might make it close with Ohio State, and they really didn't. 24-6 isn't close, but they hung in there. They hung in there for a while. So shout out to Washington for not completely letting Ohio State walk in and run away with it early. Now you still lost. 24-6 isn't a great loss there. And that kind of told me what I was expecting about this Washington team, to be honest with you. I was like, they're a good team. They're going to beat the good, the okay teams. They're going to beat the lower end teams in the Big Ten, but I don't really think they can compete with the top end of the Big Ten. And we kind of saw that. They hung in for a while, and then it was Ohio State's ball game. Maryland is a question mark on my brain right now. What tier are they in? And I'm kind of going into this with the mindset of last week with Washington. I need to see it out of Maryland. I need to see what Maryland can do. Washington, 5.5-point favorites here. Maryland, a team that I've kind of been keeping an eye on for my top 25. I haven't pulled it. I haven't decided, hey, I'm going to put them in there just yet, because I need to see them do it against a good team. Washington is a good team. They are not great. If you do win this game against Washington, I think Maryland could be in the back end of my top 25. They're a team that I'm cautiously looking at as one of those teams that can move up next week. We'll see what Maryland can do. Malik Washington, the QB there, has been really, really good. I believe he's a true freshman. We'll see what Maryland can do. I got Maryland winning. Cautious. I said it last week with Washington. Don't be shocked if they make it a game. This should probably, all signs point towards Washington here to win this one. Don't be shocked if Maryland pulls this one off. I'm going with Maryland because they're the home team here, and I think that Washington isn't some unbeatable force. But if Maryland wins this game, we need to start putting some more respect on Maryland's name. They're undefeated at the moment. They're running up against Washington, a good Washington team, not up top in the Big Ten Washington team, but a team that definitely is deserving of some back end of the top 25 conversations. They've kind of been one of those teams that's just been on the bubble until they had a chance to prove themselves, and unfortunately for them, they ran into Ohio State. But Maryland, you have a chance to prove yourself this week. Let's see what you can do. I'm going Maryland to win that one 31-27 at home. Now we're going to finish off the quick picks, and then we're going to wrap up with two feature games. So, after the Coastal Carolina Old Dominion, we go to Texas Tech versus Houston. Texas Tech wins that one 35-24. Houston almost lost to Oregon State. FAU going up against Rice. Close one. Rice wins 21-17. Southern Alabama going up against Troy, low scoring. Troy wins 17-14. UNLV going up against Wyoming. Give me UNLV 31-14. Colorado going up against TCU. I'm taking TCU there 31-17. Kansas going up against UCF. Kansas, you should have won last week. You didn't. Kansas bounces back 38-28. Minnesota going up against Ohio State. Minnesota, another capable team. I don't think they'll do it, though. Ohio State at home, 28-14. Tulsa going up against Memphis. That's another 31-17 in the favor of Memphis. Duke versus Cal. Cal loses that one. We're going Duke 38-31. Nevada going up against Fresno. Fresno wins a tight one, 24-28. Next, we are getting into our second to last feature game, so stick with us. But this is Miami going up against Florida State. Now, Miami, I'm just going to go this way. Oh, well, you see the featured game, and if you're a Mississippi State and A&M fan, you knew it was going to happen anyways. Florida State, still my number 14. I think their win against Bama is impressive. I did have to move them down because I think Virginia is a worse loss than a Florida State loss. But you're facing a team here in Miami, the number 3 team in my poll, and a team that kind of got lucky this week that they didn't play. They got to move up when other teams around them kind of fell. You play a number 3 team here in Miami that's been pretty good. I think Miami has a legitimate chance to potentially win the national championship. Like, that is this caliber of Miami team at the moment that we're seeing out of them. You have a chance here, Florida State, to walk in and prove, hey, the Alabama win wasn't a fluke. That Virginia game is more so what we're not than what we are. The Alabama game is more representative of us. That's kind of what you have to prove in this environment, in this game. And it is a home game. Florida State will have the advantage there. 4.5-point favorites towards Miami. But at the end of the day, I think you still got to rock with Miami to win this game. Miami, just a significantly more talented team. A team playing really good at the moment. Florida State, not to say they're not talented, but they are a team that at this point feels like they're kind of overperforming. That Virginia game, I think, is a little bit more representative of what they are rather than that Alabama game. Now, it's up to Florida State to prove me wrong on that, right? And I do think that Alabama game is impressive, and that's why they're still in my top 14. But the signs are starting to show up here with Florida State. Do you sink or swim this week? I'm saying they sink, but they could swim. We're going with Miami to win this one. 24-21, give me the Hurricanes. Next, we're going to, Mississippi State lost, by the way. Lost to the number 16 team, Tennessee. And I still got them in my top 25. Put some respect on Mississippi State, man. They're playing good football. They could have won that game against Tennessee. They didn't, but they could have. And then A&M. Number 8 in the country for me. They're coming off a bye, I believe. And this one is going to be a tight one. Mississippi State, obviously, we kind of saw Tennessee able to get a fast one out and be able to kind of rob Mississippi State of the game there in overtime. A&M's another team that I think is susceptible to it at home. We saw, obviously, Mississippi State was susceptible to it at home. Tennessee walked in and won. Mississippi State's a capable team of walking in here and stealing one. I just don't think they will. A&M is a team that has been impressive, but I do kind of get a sense here from this A&M team that they might have one of those moments waiting, if that makes sense. One of those letdown type of moments. That's nothing that they've really shown me. It's kind of just a vibe I'm getting from this A&M team is maybe we're going to drop a game we shouldn't. Mississippi State's a good team. I don't think this is a game A&M should drop. So don't be shocked if Mississippi State walks in and wins. but I am taking A&M at home. I don't love the 11.5 spread whatsoever. I think it's going to be close. I think Mississippi State's not even a. I think Mississippi State will make this more of a slugfest. I got it being 28-24. I got A&M at home. I'm going to take the home team here, but 11.5, kind of a disrespectful line. If I'm the Mississippi State head coach, I am considering it. So it is what it is, but at the end of the day, I'm taking A&M to win this one. So those are my Week 6 predictions. We're going through this season so quickly. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.